Yo, what's up guys? It's your boy Anizi with What If Naruto Was Adopted by Kiritsugu Emiya Part 1. So let's get started. We start off at the Naruto's attack. Naruto was born with a brother and sister. After Obito had kidnapped Naruto and unsealed the Narutos from Kushina, Minato went to go and retrieve Naruto. Minato then, after some time of fighting, managed to seal half of the Narutos into Naruto and half into himself. Minato, however, in this timeline survived, using a different seal. Minato then faked dead bodies of his, Kushina's and Naruto's siblings so that he can train them and himself to save the world because of the prophecy he had heard from the Toads. The prophecy that Jiraiya had told him was, a child born of the flash of yellow and the last of the clan of Whirlpool shall have a child who shall master the power of space and time. This child will save or destroy the elemental nations. Minato believes the child to be himself and not to be Naruto, since Naruto has the evil half of the Naruto's inside of him, and also because he is the one with space-time techniques, and even if it wasn't him and it has to be someone born from him, his children will inherit the flying Raijin, while Naruto will not, since nobody will teach it to him. Naruto then grabbed his wife and 2 kids and then teleported out of the Land of Fire and went to the Whirlpool village where they will train. Kushina agreed with Minato's decision of abandoning Naruto. We now go to 3-year-old Naruto, whose life has been a living hell. Naruto has been beaten by the matrons of the orphanage and also the children of the orphanage. In fact, the matrons all rewarded those children who creatively harmed Naruto with extra food, toys and other stuff. After getting beaten up, Naruto would usually get bread and water, just enough to satisfy his hunger and let him live, but not enough to call it a meal or fill himself up. Naruto was really malnourished. Naruto would then be sent to a room where the ninjas and villagers would come and beat him up for a price so that the matron can make more money. After that, he'll be forced to clean up the whole orphanage, whether there was blood or not coming from him. If there was even a speck of dust or even a little stain on the walls, he would be punished severely. But that would happen either way, even if Naruto did clean it properly, because the orphans would just make a mess again after Naruto had cleaned it up, and the matrons would take the orphan side. Naruto would then go to sleep on a bed, but this bed wasn't just an ordinary bed, it was just a wooden frame with nails sticking out. Naruto, as soon as he was able to speak, had met Kurama, who had taught him how to survive. Eventually the two became friends, and Kurama told him the truth of the village, how they were trying to turn him into a weapon, and how Minato and Kushina abandoned him for his arrogant siblings. Today, however, will be a day that everybody from the elemental nations would remember. The 3rd Hokage was going on a trip to another village. The civilians of this village thought that it would be clever to get rid of the demon now. Naruto Uzumaki, you have gotten old enough to survive on yourself, but before we let you leave, it's time for one last beating, the matron said. The orphans laughed as the matrons and the villagers came storming in and grabbed Naruto, took him out and started to beat him. But Naruto, he started to get angry. He never felt so betrayed in his life, as Naruto started to leak red chakra from his body that took the form of a fox. The kids got scared. You will hurt me. Now I will make you pay, Naruto yelled as he rushed towards the kids and ripped them to shreds. He then went towards the ninjas. You killed, the ninja was saying, but they were cut off with a chakra claw slicing the heads off. Faster, fire wujutsu, said an Uchiha as he fired a fireball at Naruto. Naruto ran through it, his cloak protecting him from damage, as he then began to charge up a purple wave of energy. Quick, it's a Bijudama! The ninjas were about to say, but were blown up by a Bijudama, blasting them dead, as the whole village was now burning. Most of the ninjas managed to get out. Naruto then started running towards the gate with Anbu on his trail. Killing the 2 guards on the way, Naruto made it out of the borders of the leaf, killing any ninja that got in his way. But then Naruto felt his body break from using the Naruto's chakra, as the Naruto's chakra dispelled. The ninjas finally caught up to him. So demon, out of energy already? The ninjas said, as they grabbed kunais and started to stab Naruto for hours as Naruto screamed out in pain from the torture. Now demon, you die. We know the 3rd will just forgive you for your crimes, but we don't want you in our village and we don't want you alive. So die, the ninja says. Fire style, fire wujutsu, he yelled. Kurama, if I die, tell that bastard Namikaze I hope he rots in hell not. You're not gonna die, kid. I'll save you, Kurama says, trying to save him. Damn it, I can't heal him with only half of my power, Kurama says, as Naruto smiles and says, Kurama, you are like a brother to me. I hope you live a happy life, Naruto says. Kurama then says an object coming into Naruto, but wasn't focused on it as he tried to summon his other half to save Naruto. No, I won't give up, Kurama yelled as the seal on Minato shattered and the yin half was pulled out of him. We now go to Minato's point of view, who's celebrating his children's unlocking chakra. Minato screams and drops to the ground as red chakra leaked out of him, as a giant fox formed out of him and started to fly away towards Naruto. Minato, father, yelled everyone. After a few hours, Minato had the whole nine tails extracted out of him, and he was now going towards Naruto. It also poisoned the kids that were around him, since they weren't Jinchokis and they were never used to it. What happened, Minato? Krishna yelled. Naruto, he must have called back the nine tails. Somehow, that damn idiot, he's ruining the prophecy, Minato yelled. We need to get back there and make sure that everything is alright, Minato yells. We now go back to the borders of the Land of Fire. A few seconds before all of this happened, Kiritsugu Emiya and his wife Irisville von Eisenberg were traveling the Elemental Nations, an area secluded from the rest of the world. This was because the people of Chakra would die when trying to leave the Elemental Nations, and the Mages Association and the church decided to make sure nobody ended up here because the people over here were overly violent. Right now, the two were in the Elemental Nations looking for a link to summon the King Arthur, one of the strongest servants. They managed to find through a source that Avalon, the sheath of Excalibur, was here. Avalon also possessed mad healing ability. Kiritsugu and Irisville then heard a scream right after they found the chief Avalon. Kiritsugu told Irisville that he's going ahead as they rushed towards the scream. What Kiritsugu saw horrified him. Even the mangas weren't that bad. He saw a grown man about to light a blonde boy on fire. Dear God, Kiritsugu says, as he grabbed his gun and shot them. Bang bang. He shot the ninjas and civilians who were harming the kid dead. Irisville arrived hearing gunshots and then screamed at what she saw. Who would do that to a child, she said, rushing towards Naruto and trying to heal him with magic. It's not working, she cried. A ninja who had survived the shot charged at Irisville, but was shot dead before he could even kill her. However, he did manage to stab her hand. Kiritsugu tried to pull up the knife, however he managed to cut his hand while pulling it out. Both Irisville and Kiritsugu's blood dropped into the wound of Naruto. Honey, we can save him. We'll use Avalon to heal him. We can always take it out after, just in case, Kiritsugu says, snapping a little shard of Avalon and implanting Avalon into Naruto. Inside of Naruto went Avalon as the other half of Nine Tails had also arrived. Kurama felt his energy getting drained by the object that had just entered. It was also using the blood of Kiritsugu Emiya and Irisville von Eisenberg as a template on what to create. The bloods were analyzed and then it created circuits for Naruto. Both Kurama had their powers drained from this, and their energies were converted into the same energy that the circuit could handle, an unknown type of energy. Unknown to them, this was magic circuits for Naruto, allowing him to use magecraft. Naruto, due to having the Nine Tails and Avalon inside of him, will also be getting the Ten Tails healing ability, actually something beyond that of the Ten Tails healing ability. He could regen a heart without even trying. Outside of Naruto, Kiritsugu and Irisville saw Naruto's hair change towards that of Irisville and his eyes turned red. Their skin color became like Kiritsugu's. As they both got shocked on what they saw that their blood was dripping into Naruto, and then they theorized that Naruto was becoming their biological son. After that, they fled the scene, with Kiritsugu Emiya using his skills as an assassin to remove all the evidence. They then quickly went towards their castle. A week has passed and the three had arrived to the castle of the Eisenberg family. Another week has passed and Naruto finally woke up. Where am I? Naruto asked. One of the Eisenberg's castles, a voice says. Who are you? The man asked. Naruto, yes Naruto. I was abandoned by my parents. Who are you? Naruto asked. My name is Kiritsugu Emiya and this little one is Iliaville. And this is my wife, Irisville. Why were those ninjas attacking you? A 3-year-old Kiritsugu asked. Kurama told Naruto to explain everything after telling Naruto that Kiritsugu did everything to save him. After that, Kiritsugu explained everything that happened to him and how Naruto became the biological son. They asked Naruto if he he wanted to join the family, and Naruto agreed and hugged his new family. A month had passed. Naruto had become overprotective over his little sister, Emiya, and started calling her his little snow angel. Naruto had managed to calm her down whenever she got scared, and she trusted Naruto as one of her own brother. Over the years, the rest of the Aizenbans saw Naruto's power, and since their family respected power, and after a few blood tests confirming that Naruto was indeed now an Aizenban and emiya, they accepted him into the family. They also made him heir instead of Iliaville. Emiya didn't mind because she didn't care about being heir but more about her Oni-chan more. When testing Naruto's magic type, they found that Naruto had two of the most powerful magic types. The first was space-time magic, and the next one was projection magic with a reality mode. They also learnt about the Holy Grail War and how he and Emiya will be in the next war. Kiritsugu then showed them how to summon a servant by summoning Saber. Naruto then trained with Saber, and the two grew a bond. Unknown to Naruto, Euphoria had fell in love with Naruto or had a crush on him. We now go to the Fourth Grail War. Both Naruto and Emiya were sent away, but they were watching the news and they saw a giant creature attacking. They also saw their father and mother and Saber there, along with some other servants. It must be Caster, Naruto, Emiya says. We have to go there and help them, Naruto yells. Oni-chan, how are we gonna get there, she asks. Naruto saw the threat and got scared for his parents that they might die. He didn't want this to happen again. Emiya saw this and put her hand on Naruto. Naruto then imagined teleporting to the area. While he was doing this, unknowingly, Naruto used magic, and in a flash, both Emiya and Naruto was there. Naruto and Emiya yelled, Mum, as they ran to her. Emiya, Naruto, what are you doing here? She asked. I don't know, we just saw you on the TV and imagined being here to help and we got here, Naruto says. Naruto must have accidentally used this space-time magic. Why would he come here? It's too dangerous, Iceville says. A person dressed in gold was watching. This boy possesses incredible power. Maybe he's the one. Naruto then saw Saber was injured and couldn't use the Excalibur due to some wound on her hand. He saw the giant monster about to crush her. He then imagined her being here, as he remembered the feeling he had before when he and Emiya got teleported here. Suddenly, in a flash, Saber was standing in front of them before she could get hit. What? How? Naruto-kun, is that you? Saber says, what are you doing here? You're gonna get hurt, she yells. Emiya was distracted when the giant sent an attack towards her, injuring her, but Saber managed to save her before she could die. Naruto got angry as red chakra seeped from him and golden magic also formed around him as both of those energies turned into a golden red fox. The servants will stop seeing a great malice and power. The same person from before also looked down from her golden ship. You hurt my little snow angel, you will die, you monster, Naruto yelled as he rushed towards the monster. He then created a giant ball of energy, blasting a Bijidama to the monster and killing Caster. All the servants stood there in shock. A human had managed to take out a servant, a really powerful servant, that they could barely even attack, until they heard clapping. You managed to entertain me, the Queen of Kings and the first hero and the Queen of Heroes, a female arrogant voice says, as she came up to him dressed in a golden armor and then kissed Naruto on the forehead. You're too young for me now, but maybe next time you'll be just old enough, she says. Here's a little gift, she says, opening a portal and giving him a golden chain. As she disappeared, Iceville and Emiya started shouting at the girl. After that, Naruto and Emiya were berated by their parents, and they also had Naruto teleport himself and Iceville out of the fight. Oni-chan, we kicked ass, Emiya said. Yeah, Naruto agreed. We now skip to the end of the war. Kiritsugu made his wish to heal Iceville because Naruto had changed him from wanting to be a hero of justice to someone who prioritizes family above all. He then explained to Naruto how corrupt the Grail was and that he had to kill many just to save the life of his mother. They then both made plans of what to do towards the next Grail War, which also involves eliminating the current Aizenban head. Saber had also managed to defeat Gilgamesh, or Gilgamesh, the Queen of Heroes. She also stayed with the Emiya von Aizenban family because she had been incarnated due to winning and touching a bit of the liquids of the Holy Grail. She fell in love with Naruto even more after he had saved her. Time skip 2 years before the 5th Holy Grail War. Emiya had just summoned her servant Berserker, who was Hercules. Naruto was now going to summon his servant. Unknown to Naruto, the item, a necklace Gilgamesh gave to him, was around his neck. Naruto went up to the circle as he channeled mana into it and did a summoning ritual. He Neo before me, Mongo. I'm a caster type who has answered your call, Gilgamesh says. It's you, Gilgamesh says. Well, you've grown to be quite handsome, and your power excites me, Gilgamesh says. Dad, Mum, I summon Gilgamesh, Naruto says. It's you. Stay away from my son, you harpy, Aizuo says. Oh, your son will be mine, Gilgamesh says. Naruto-kun is mine, Artoria came and said, as the two servants started to fight each other. Enough, both Kiritsugu and Naruto yelled towards their servants, making both of them stop. Fine, I got an idea, Gilgamesh says, with an evil smirk as she took Artoria to the side and they both started to smirk and laugh. We've decided to share you, Mongo. Be great that the Queen of Kings has allowed you to have a harem, she says. Naruto's jaw then dropped and was about to say something when Kiritsugu stopped him. Just agree, we don't want any more problems, he said as Naruto was forced to agree. We now time skip to the end of the 5th Holy Grail War. In this one there was no Emiya and Rin had joined Naruto. Naruto and Gilgamesh won the Grail War after both of them had teamed up with Ilya and also Rin, and the most powerful servants came together to eliminate the others. They also explained to Rin what the Grail really was, which was corrupted. They then had Saber and Gilgamesh use the ultimate weapon, Emiya Elish and Saber's Excalibur, to destroy the Grail. After that, Kiritsugu killed the head of the Ainsburn when he tried to kill Naruto and Ilya for revenge for destroying their Grail. After that, Kiritsugu had declared Naruto the new head of the Ainsburns. Gilgamesh was also incarnated. Both Gilgamesh and Artoria were now in a relationship with Naruto. They were enjoying time with each other when a white light showed up and out came an old man with purple eyes. Kiritsugu got his guns out and aimed it at the old pale man, and Gilgamesh and Saber got their swords out. Naruto Uzumaki, or should I say Naruto Ainsburn, Emiya. You are needed to return to the elemental nations and save it or it will be destroyed, the man said. But guys, that's all for today. Peace.